I talked about having this Reproductive Health Act legislation since 2007, but there was a champion here for reproductive rights before I got here, and that's the person you'll hear from next, Senator Liz Krueger.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And I am so proud of my conference and what we stand for when it comes to reproductive rights, women's rights, everyone's rights to not be discriminated against. And I want to particularly shout out my leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who, yes, had the Reproductive Health Act early on. Then she got busy being the leader. I don't quite understand why she thought she had too much work to do. And so she asked me to take on that bill, and I was happy to take that on. It took us a lot longer than we expected, but we finally got there. And then one of the bills I've worked on now for several years is the constitutional amendment called the Equal Rights Amendment. And in June, when we had first passage, I actually had a medical emergency and couldn't be in Albany that day. And my leader took it on and brought it to the floor. So again, thank you so much for, frankly, always being on the right side of the issues and always standing with her conference on the tough fights. So it is so important to all of us, the role you play and the leadership you play. And so today we're going to pass second passage of the Equal Rights Amendment, and then it will move to the voters in November 24, where they will need to vote it through in order for it to change our Constitution. And what is it? People say it's all these different things, and I think it's pretty simple. It goes much broader than women, much broader than reproductive health rights. It's recognizing that the Constitution that has not been open for these issues since 1938 does not reflect today's world. So in the 1938 version of the Constitution, we said that people of different races and different religions were protected from discrimination. We didn't even think about women then, so there wasn't women. It wasn't gender identity. It wasn't LGBTQ. It wasn't even people of different ethnic and country origins. So people think, well, if you are Latino, you are protected in our Constitution. Not really clear you are, because it's not a race. It's a language group from different parts of the world. We didn't protect disabled people. We didn't protect elderly people. And so we are modernizing our Constitution to recognize that all these categories of New Yorkers should have equal rights under the Constitution to be protected from discrimination. Because guess what we've learned recently? The courts can change, and suddenly protections you thought you had because of court cases aren't there anymore. Elections can change, and suddenly protections you thought you had because you had the right elected officials in office can change in an election, and suddenly you don't have those protections anymore. Our fundamental rights have to be established constitutionally, and that's what we're going to do with the second passage of the ERA, then turning it over to the voters to understand how crucial this is for all 20 million of us. So I am very glad to stand with all my colleagues on all the bills we are passing today on behalf of New Yorkers. Thank you.